This is Bishop Dr. Truman Burst. Master Herbalist, coming to you from Good Shepherd Ministries.
To be where it's at. As you see the condition of our people these days. It's only a few of us that are outspoken. And, as the scripture says, when the Most High said that my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Yes.
We see this, rampant.
Yes.
And that's why, a brother like you with a voice, a brother like me with a voice, we have to let the people know what's going on, within the system that we're living in. Whether it be, with the pharmaceutical industry, the schools and the educational system. There's a lot that's going on.
Oh, it's
not paying attention to.
It's legion what is going on. Not even to mention things like GMO. See, our government is depopulating. It's obvious, and this new and this new czar, Daniel, this new Ebola czar, he is for depopulation.
Wow.
So that's why he was appointed there. This is nothing less than murder, mass murder, and so they're trying in so many directions. Look at the GMO, genetically modified organisms, versus organic foods. Fundamentally, Daniel, fundamentally, farming is a simple process. You plant seeds, you grow crops, harvest crops, and you gather seeds from the plants, and you go to the next season.
You see, well, it's not a coincidence that the government, they're trying to clamp down on farmers as well. Just like,
oh, yeah.
And, when you put two and two together, you have, a doctor in your position.
Yeah.
What you're doing is pretty much similar to what a farmer does.
Yeah.
And, it goes back to that mechanic shop, illustration I was talking about. You see, these pharmaceutical companies, they're not in business to help or to cure anybody. There's no money in that.
No. They've proven they're there to make you sick, keep you sick, and harvest as many depopulate as many people as they possibly can. And they're even denying coverage now under this new Obamacare baloney. They're denying coverage to people who have cancer, saying, "Well, you're not, you're too far gone. We're not gonna even help you." So they're turning them away. But let's get back to this GMO, because sadly, GMO companies like Monsanto take this last step away. In other words, what they created is seeds that only go one season, and there's no seeds in the plant for the next season. You got to buy more seeds from Monsanto. That's what they've done, and that is an insidious, that is evil beyond evil. So they've taken that last step where you got a seed that's producing another seed within the plant. They've removed that. That final step is gone. It's taken away from the farmers, and it raises expenses even further by forcing the farmers to continually buy the premium priced, genetically modified seeds that only give you one harvest. And the seeds that, every growing season, they got to buy new seeds from Monsanto. So this is not feeding the humanity. This is stopping the food that's trying to get to humanity. Now, in fact, as was shown in the Bowman versus Monsanto court case, it is illegal in the U.S. for someone growing a Monsanto crop to harvest the seeds and use them later. They can't do it. If they happen to be some seeds, you got to throw them away. Is that stupid or is that insane? That's demonic. And the Bowman case went all the way to the Supreme Court. And despite public outcry, the 70-year-old farmer was unanimously found guilty of patent infringement after he purchased and used a second-generation Monsanto seeds. So there's no justice in this. And it's just like the FDA. Preventing farmers from harvesting seeds means big business could eventually have total control over the world's seed supply and prices. Currently, just 3 mega companies control over half of the global seed market, which has caused prices to skyrocket. For example, the average price of planting an acre of soybeans has gone up 325% since 1995. Things get even scarier when you consider Monsanto has developed and owns a patent on a terminator gene, which can make a plant produce sterile seeds. But don't worry, they promise not to use the technology. It's kind of like you can keep your health plan.
Right.
And you can keep your doctor. They lie. They're liars. So one of the major problems, Daniel, is with the GM crops is that they're difficult to contain, which means they could be extremely hard to get rid of later if we decide that they're a bad idea. They're hard to get rid of. They affect the good crops. And so if the farmer next door doesn't have them, you've ruined when you plant a crop, and if it ruins the farmer's crop that's all natural. So you can't even have one near your neighbor. Well, anyway, a diligent, small, but an organic farmer is using natural growing methods, and he can't stop pollen from the GM farm from blowing in and fertilizing and turning his crops into hybrids. While it's fairly easy to reduce contamination in some plants, with others like canola and corn, it's nearly impossible. Now, early in the Monsanto early on, Monsanto and others claimed that cross-pollination wouldn't be an issue if the farms were sufficiently spread apart. Yet, this proved inaccurate when they found pollen could travel much further than expected, like several kilometers or more. As GM crops grow in popularity, we may not be able to choose between consuming or avoiding them, as all plants will be infected. Even buying food with an organic label doesn't put you totally in the clear, as some governing agencies like the FDA don't revoke a farm's organic status if a few plants were cross-pollinated with a GM crop. The FDA does nothing. They allow that. So there's lots of big problems with GMO. I mean, it goes on and on and on, and there's a big case against it. And you'll see that information on the website at Herbal Health Review. All you have to do is in the search engine, type in GMO, and it'll bring you to a link, Food Incorporated, the truth about GMO foods. And it's a very lengthy letter, so we don't have the time to go into it in depth, but GMO is another government encroachment bent on depopulation.
Oh yes, that is definitely part of their game, their game plan. As you see these, FEMA camps that are all over the place, it kind of makes you wonder. And then at the same time, we have all of these coffins all throughout the state.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of people aren't really paying attention to it, but you know, but it makes but it raises your, like your eyebrow, and it it's kind of makes you wonder if all that plays into the same, the same thing there, because
It does, but they don't want you to know that.
they don't want you to know that. The same thing, with like fluoride.
Oh, yeah.
Give me a take on that as well, because that, falls in line with the GMO food as well, and also with fluoride. What is your take on that?
Fluoride was used in the Nazi concentration camps. It was invented then to dumb down people so you could control them while you murder them. And that's when it was invented, and then it was sold by evil people in high places into America, into the dental supply, and and they were told, and dentists, they were told that this is going to harden the teeth, and it's going to be something you need to use, and so all dentists use it. Well, they used to use it, not all of them now. There's some that don't use fluoride, but you'll find it in fluoride toothpaste, you'll find it in your water supply, you'll find it in the dental offices. They put fluoride all over the place. So evil in high places was able to take this dumb you down poison, because it's a poison that dumbs you down, and they were able to get it pretty much into the American food supply, dental industry, etc., toothpaste industry. It's all over the place, and then they want to tell you, oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's and it isn't.
I know that it's banned in certain countries.
Absolutely.
So if it's banned in certain countries, then how do they get it to over here in America where it's okay? They have their toothpaste and your water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
all over, yeah.
This is like the rabbit hole goes. It really goes deep, because when you were talking about depopulation,
Oh yeah.
geez, and then it makes you believe that diseases and all this stuff comes from, maybe like your granddad may have had this and had
Right.
that, and it passed on to you.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we all grow up to believe.
Yeah.
But in actuality, when you really look at the bigger picture, these diseases and sicknesses is coming from the very food and the water that we're drinking.
Absolutely, and see, that's the other thing. There's all kinds of lead and mercury contamination and so forth, but there are products that are listed in that herbalhealthreview.com that will be a heavy metal detox. See, there's herbal formulas. The Most High had me invent a heavy metal detox, so that you take these certain herbs. A couple of the main herbs are chlorella and cilantro, and that pulls out these heavy metals, and so does seaweed. So there are things that we know how to deal with these, and if these children then have these metals and chemicals in their body. For instance, diabetes is mainly caused by pesticides. So we know that with a different formula called CVF, which I'm sure they want to change that too. I think they do. That's on their list. And does that tell you anything? CVF? Nothing. But they say, oh, you can't have that. They're nuts. But anyway. The FDA doesn't want us to have CVF, but CVF pulls the pesticides out of the body. So if it's a pesticide and some of those chemicals, it'll help to pull it out of the body when you use that formula. And if it's a heavy metal, then we use a heavy metal detox herbal formula. And you just use these things until you're over what you're fighting off. And when you're over with it, you're done. You don't need them anymore. It's not like a drug where you need another drug, and you're taking these drugs for the rest of your life. Natural remedies just work with your body's natural ability to heal itself. All it's giving you is the nutrients, the specific nutrients that trigger certain responses. And some people use homeopathic remedies. I don't like to use homeopathic remedies because if you took a homeopathic remedy and you walk by a tarred roof, or you get some other smell in the air that's strong, it can knock out the homeopathic remedy. And then all of a sudden you're back to square one again. I like herbal remedies. They're subtle. You have to work at it a little bit. You take some drops for a while under the tongue, and bingo, you're over with it. You could put them in herbal teas. There's so many ways to use herbs. If you don't like a tea, then use capsules. If you don't like capsules, use tablets, etc. There's all these forms to use these natural remedies in, and that's where you'll find all the information on herbalhealthreview.com. Click on common conditions, and it's a wealth of information there, and it's all free. And you can't buy anything on that website. herbalhealthreview.com sells nothing. That's why that stymies the FDA, and the judge said that that's legal, and the FDA said that's not legal. Well, I don't know. They're going to have to argue with the judge about that because they're arguing that we should tear that website down when a federal judge told us it was okay. That we're complying. So there's problems with what the FDA is trying to do to us right now. Since the last 16 days, their last criminal extortion racket threats.
And supposedly, you would figure the FDA, they were supposed to be for the people, right?
Yeah, they're in charge of the food and drugs. Only now they being under
worried about the wealth.